Welcome, angry faithful, to the Friday. What the hell are we talking about today? Basically, we're looking at some of the interesting news and other stuff that happened here in the world. Isn't that right, Bill?
Which world?
Which dimension? Which timeline, even?
You should see one of the anti-data center people. I saw a video. She came up and was going. They're getting ready for the digital other Earth, and we're going to be transported to the digital other Earth.
We'll get into that later.
First, no, I didn't even save that one. There's enough nutty out there. That one was beyond nutty.
Yeah. But our first thing is a Texas judge resigned. Why, you ask? Well, Texas tried to fly the pride flag in our courtroom, which I don't see a problem with that. I mean, each your own. Just got permanently banned. What's really funny about the pride thing, though, is she fought for it and she won, which hey, freedom of speech. As long as you have the Texas and the United States flag in the courtroom, I don't care. But she just got permanently banned from every courtroom in Texas. Why, you ask? Well, Judge Rosie Speeden Gonzalez. I wish I could make that up. But Baylor, I looked up like 15 different things just to find out her actual name. And that's what it was. In Baxter County, fully open LBGT. We're not going to go with the other one, all the other letters on it. It's too long, and we have a short show. Judge ordered the defense attorney handcuffed and thrown in the jury box during a probation hearing in December 2024. The attorney was a defendant, and she was a licensed defense lawyer doing her job. And here's the weirdest part. The same judge who spent years fighting to displace the flag about rights and dignity in the courtroom entered her career by stripping the rights and dignity of an attorney in front of a live jury. She was indicted in January 26 on a felony unlawful restraint and official oppression. By April, she agreed to resign immediately and accept a lifetime ban and any judicial roles in Texas in exchange for the charges to be dropped. This is the same playbook every single time. The people loudest about justice are often the ones who forget it applies to both directions. The ban isn't coming from her policies. It's coming from the handcuffs she put on someone else who didn't deserve them. And basically what she can only do right now is she's only allowed to give marriage licenses out and stuff. If she's not allowed to do anything judicial in the state of Texas anymore. So yeah. But Bill, you had a busy week this week, haven't you?
No, it was boring. Went to a city council meeting that was kind of interesting.
That's what I was getting at. Is all the stuff that you did this week that was
and it's being used as an example nationwide.
Really?
Yeah. So? We can do it. The people spoke. The evil data center was voted down because the people spoke. Didn't have a fucking thing to do with the people speaking. So if anyone's out there, you didn't do shit. Watch the city council meeting. If you watch the city council meeting, you can see why the zoning was turned down for the data center.
Why are they going to just rezone it?
No, that was a they came up with they were flaky. Put it this way, they were flaky. One of the last things the mayor said before the vote is, so you're just going to flip the property. it wasn't the developer wasn't the actual people doing the data center, doing it for a customer. They were just kind of building it in advance. I don't even think they had a customer. But if you watch it, I was expecting, because in the Wichita Falls groups, the brainwashed activists are just flooding it. And I was really expecting it to be like the protests that you see in city halls, city council meetings around the country, where they're just all screaming at them, where there was tons of people just screaming, and the city council sometimes has to walk out because they can't even say anything. They can't even do their meeting. I mean, it's pretty organized, a city council that goes through presentations and stuff, and then every resident gets 3 minutes to make a statement, whatever. Resident of Wichita Falls. Oops. But and maybe I can find the video on that.
Well, it could be.
But they all get their few minutes, and it was calm. Wasn't really any extra people there. Maybe 3 or 4 people spoke in the 3 minutes and just mentioned a couple of things on data centers. And then when the people came up to make their case, then other people can comment about it. And there was probably 4 people who calmly went up and made statements. And one of them was pretty much 3 or 4 talking points in a row, which I was surprised. This is more than once that activists bring up. Or she wasn't an activist; she was a local concerned citizen brainwashed by activists. But they brought up the Oregon data center, and the people who were trying to build the data center. Well, have you done this study? Well, no. It was real wishy-washy on what even they had prepared to do. They had no statements on it. Well, you're going to be this close to houses, so what are you going to do about that? Well, blah blah. Can you shift? And it was just wishy-washy. But in the Oregon one, when the person mentioned that, and they turned to the developer, and he went, "I'm not familiar with that case." That's one of the big ones going around right now, is they're trying to compare our data center to an incident where they just got sued in Oregon and paid $20 million or something, which is, they reached in their pocket and grabbed a couple of bucks, is basically what that is, because the citizens were poisoned. And what it was a data center that the complex started the construction started on it in 2011. It's an evaporative cooling data center. There isn't a data center near us that's even going to be evaporative cooled. So let me see, who was it? Amazon. Yeah, it was Amazon who got sued. And the thing is, it had been a heavily industrial farmed area up in Oregon. So old data center, evaporative cooling, heavily industrial farmed. Well, they sucked the water out of the ground, and it created a concentration of nitrites. And without going into the long detail, basically a large concentration of nitrites, because it had been industrial farmed and because it was an evaporative cooled data center, got into their water. But what some things don't mention is, decades before that, they already had a nitrite issue.
Oh,
my guess is 20 million isn't crap. My guess is maybe that's why. I haven't looked that deep into it to see if that's why, because I would have expected a bigger settlement than that. But I even went as far as checking the nitrite level in Wichita Falls. So they're trying to compare it to the nitrite level. We are way low on nitrites. So they're trying to compare it to heavily industrial farmed. Ours is going in a business park that hasn't been farmed, and it's closed loop cooling. So it's just completely irrelevant. But all the activists are.
Bill. I wanted to ask you something. So are we still getting a data center?
Well, not that one.
Okay.
There's there's at least 3 data centers in Wichita Falls that they're looking at. One of
Okay.
them's Skybox out by the business park. One of them's Airport Drive, but it's Airport Drive east of the call center. It's 2 data centers that they were looking at on Airport Drive.
Okay.
And one of them's
and they're gonna use that one building that's what was it, U-Haul and
yeah,
stuff like that.
but budget. Now, that one hasn't they haven't come up and gone through a final on that. But
Okay.
this one was gonna be east of that, and it was gonna be a huge complex. Actually, if you look at the Data Novex plan, it uses that budget call center building, and then it does a multi-story building kind of around it. And
Oh,
looking at the land plot of the Brad Altman project, which is the one that got voted down, it looks like that all Data Novix has is that 2 buildings, basically, or 1 building and then a surrounding building. So they would be ready to go up in a short notice.
So,
And
well, that video that I sent you, they were saying they need probably around about how many acres? At least 50 acres of land just to do all that.
to do what?
The big data centers that he was talking about on that video I sent you.
50 acres? Are you talking about John Stossel?
Yeah.
I don't think he mentioned an acre, but 50 acres is
He said a large plot of land, and I looked at the measurements and everything, and it was probably around about 50 acres.
uh
The only reason why I know that is because I have to look at other buildings, because Bucky's is usually around about 15 acres, and if you calculate how much that whole area is combined with other areas, it's right around about 50 acres.
Okay, just Skybox outside of town. That one that's already approved is 225 acre,
Okay.
and there's an option of an additional 125 acres.
Okay.
And I think they're going to do the option.
Okay. So we're still getting data centers. It's just that one is the people just wanted to flip it.
Yeah, and it had nothing to do with the citizens. You listen to the questions. The whole city council was hammering him with, and you could see it on their faces. That it was like, this is a bunch of bullshit. You could just see it on their faces, and they're like,
They're not
no,
believing in the psyop.
do what?
They're not believing in the psyop.
I don't even. I'm not even sure how much I know about that. Well, I'll tell you a data center that I went to. I mentioned it last week. Crowell.
No, you didn't mention that.
Oh, there's a data center that well, there was this nice lady. I didn't tell you about the nice lady who made a post about a data center in Crowell, Texas, and her family she grew up there. Her elderly parents lived there. Here's a bunch of nice little questions. I said, oh, okay. So I gave her some more questions, and she had a worry about this, and I thought I calmed the worry down. And then I saw it. It's called a swarm. Activists started coming in to her little post. And she wasn't in a group. It was just her personal post. Activists started popping in and going and doing their thing of going, well, no, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. You need to come over to Paluxy Valley group and see what we've got. So all the activist groups started pulling her over there. And I watched her turn from someone who just had a few questions. And I went to the meeting in Crowell, and I could see she was up there in the front, and one person was recording it with a camera, a big camera, and she was just like this. there was a couple of concerned citizens, and then one person standing up that I would like to get identified was probably a activist from out of town, because she stood up and hammered all kinds of questions of things that they weren't even talking about, and she would just hammer questions. But I watched this lady turn, and I'm going, and she's got over 250 shares. Her personal thing. Oh, look, I'm popular. And I found her post in a Michigan anti-data center group. Huh, that's kind of odd. And then I did some more digging, and turns out the professional activists were using her post as training material, sending it around the country, learning how to turn someone and learning how to turn a city. The citizens were just like, oh, we got some questions. And by the time the meeting came, the citizens were like, we don't want this thing. This thing's evil. That's how quick they did. And her latest thing she came up with, I mean, she has gone full nutso now, comparing the Abilene data center to here, which is a massive Stargate project. But their latest angle is BESS, the large-scale battery storage. They're going to go after the battery storage. They're not stopping the data centers fast enough. So she's got all kinds of links and legal shit in this latest post she put out on stopping it by stopping the battery storage. Yeah.
I don't think that even would stop it.
Yeah, it would. It'd grind it to a halt. They can't. It can't function without having large scale battery storage, especially with SB6 that Texas passed last year. It requires it. It requires it.
Okay, wait a minute. So it requires the battery backup, but they're trying to put like because I know like Google and Facebook, when they're putting in their stuff, they're putting in an actual there's talks that they're putting in their own nuclear power plants just to get
that's a long ways out. Small modular reactors are 2030. Now in Haskell County, we've got micro reactors, and as far as I last saw, that is still on track for 2029. But right now, you look at the data center in Wilbarger County. It's a big Google data center. It uses advanced air cooling. Zero water. Zero. None. And they're going to have their own power. And people are like, oh, they're going to suck the grid dry, and they're not doing it because it costs money. Well, no, ERCOT is backed up by several years. If you're just now trying to apply to get connection into ERCOT, that's backed up several years. So what's the alternative? Build their own power, build their own microgrid, or have a co-location agreement with another power supplier. And in Wilbarger County, the Google data center is doing wind, solar, and having battery backups. And what happens is, surprise, surprise, we actually have excess power available in Wichita Falls that we don't use. Now, what happens to excess power? I mentioned this, I think, a couple of weeks ago about how the wind farms, we don't have the transmission lines, so the wind farms have to throttle back the wind generators. Yeah. So there's times that we lose a gigawatt, just wasted. Well, you have to have some way to store it. So the local data center is actually going to stabilize the grid and help it with its battery storage. So it'll take that excess electricity, store it. If we have some major stress with the grid, the first ERCOT, and this is the thing that SB6 does that no other state has, can shut it down themselves. They can shut down the power to the data center. to protect our grid, but also it provides load stabilizing. It can actually feed power back into the grid if we need it.
Okay, here's the thing. Why are we wasting that much electricity and not using its time travel? Because we all know that all you need is 1.21 gigawatts to power a time machine and go back in time and fix stuff. You know what's really sad? I had to look that up.
Huh?
I had to look that up.
You're kidding.
I had to look it up. That's what's really sad. I had to look it up. I was like, I knew it was 1 gigawatts, wasn't it? No, it's 1.21 gigawatts. But I thought they would sell it.
Well, no, we do have an issue with that. Item not available.
Yeah, I went to O'Reilly's and tried to find it, and I asked if I could order the part, and they're like, you can take the item number. You take the item number on there and take it to O'Reilly's, and some of the people was like, we don't have that part. It looks like that we don't have that. Oh, go fuck yourself.
Can you go? Did you go up to the desk with it? I mean, it has on their website an actual part number of 121G product line EB.
Yes, I did do that. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Do it every once in a while. I mean, April Fools, April 1st you can do it. But yeah, every once in a while, just do that. It gets me a giggle. It's so hilarious.
Well, there's one thing I was thinking about is there was something that came up about a data center in Virginia or something, and it was a picture of it's going to use 1,000 generators and not backup. Like the generators here in town, they're going to be for backup only. They're going to crank up probably once a month for a short time.
Okay.
For a test. And but this data center in, I think, Virginia is going to be actually powered off of generators. So I saw a link.
Why is it being powered by generators?
That's just how they're going to power it. I mean, they're powering data centers lots of different ways. But there was a link in something I found that wasn't the anti site to Caterpillar, and Caterpillar was bragging about it. And you look at their latest generators, people say, oh, smoke and all that. Well, their latest tier 4 generators that most of the data centers are using produce 90% less emissions than just the generators from a few years ago. So what happens if there's a nationwide pause in data centers? How many people at Caterpillar, just Caterpillar, would lose their jobs?
You mean we're not going to have any more AI cat videos and you're going to be sad and I had to have a suicide watch on you? Is that what's going to happen, Bill?
I used to joke about that, but people are so paranoid and brainwashed with the issue of what AI is or isn't that they really believe that. But let me get with the Caterpillar thing. The Caterpillar thing, okay, they would lose, thousands. But what about the battery industry?
Okay.
Here's the deal with the battery industry. And they're now wanting to shut down batteries temporarily because they love batteries but hate data centers. So I actually saw one of them make a comment that we have to temporarily pretend to hate batteries. Temporarily pretend, just to shut it down. Then we flip back and forth between number 1 and number 2 in battery storage with California. We're number 1 in wind and solar. So what happens if they stop battery storage and it stops data centers? Right now, over 50% of wind and solar projects are paid for by data centers. So the environmentalists had the federal government, our tax dollars, giving the wind companies money we were paying, actually physically paying, not a tax cut or something, not an abatement. We were physically paying for them to build them. Now we're no longer physically paying. The data centers are 100% paying for this. And over 50% of their business is data centers right now. Future contracts, things have been signed. Now, what happens if data centers are paused? The little environmentalists who love the industry, the solar and wind industry will collapse. The renewable energy industry will collapse because it has become so intertwined with data center production, construction. Now, what happens then? You got the data centers that are already operating. Well, you don't have as excess solar and wind. The companies have crumbled. So the current data centers are going to have to rely on natural gas and coal, and they're going to have to crank that up. That's what this little pussy shit, mainly just for, to help us lose the AI race and for the midterms, because it's pulling conservatives over into the liberal side. And that's the main reason. But it'll collapse what they love, the entire industry. And right now, people say, well, all the data center construction, that's so many tens of thousands, 100,000 jobs or something. Well, no, you've got the data center, you've got the people who build the servers, you got the people who run the data centers, you got the people who build the AC units, you got the people who build the electric switches, the people. If you paused data center construction like they want, a nationwide pause, you're looking at about 4.7 million jobs gone, frozen out, paused, layoffs. So I'm thinking that that's another objective of them is to crash the economy.
Hello.
Howdy. Is they're looking at crashing the economy.
Yeah.
Now, here's the latest. I've got a, oh my gosh, the flux capacitor thing came up. Okay, you speak for a little bit while I get reacclimated here.
Oh, go with no, not that one. That one. Okay. There's another judge that had a misunderstanding. Utah Supreme Court Justice Danny Higgins has resigned amidst an investigation for having alleged romantic relationship with the lawyer who argued the Democratic Utah redistricting case, which she ruled in favor of. So, yeah, this whole redistricting thing is getting kind of ridiculous to the point to where people are going, oh, they're doing it to us. The Republicans are doing it to us. Oh, the Democrats are doing it to us. This happens all the time. Every year they try to redistrict, especially like in the beginnings, like in the teens, 2020, 2030. It's going to be another redistricting because we got the census. And 2010 was a redistricting, and 2000 was a redistricting. It's going to happen each and every time. But everybody has it in their infinite wisdom that it's always against them because they redistricted. The only thing that actually came through with all this was the Supreme Court going 9-0 for it, saying that you can't redistrict a place because of race. So that's beneficial. Did you get everything, Bill?
Yeah, I got my next point. One of the things for decades I've seen is the term Google bombing. Google bombing is when, say, a liberal group takes a phrase and they want to duplicate it all over the internet. Then if you search for something about that phrase, that's what pulls up and they say, look, it's everywhere. I started seeing the same phrase pop up over and over within the last few days. And keep an eye out for this. I'm not talking about the people who say water, oh, it's going to take our water, and they make statements about it and statements about electric. This is the exact phrase. Why does everyone keep calling them data centers? They are mega surveillance centers.
Oh. Well, they got to rename stuff, man. I mean, look at
no. They have moved on from the aspect of kind of like it's for your health, the water, and they've gone to the next psychological step and gone to that. And you're seeing that exact phrase, even with the same punctuation of why does everyone keep calling them data centers? They are mega surveillance centers. That same thing is popping up now everywhere. And if you go into a conservative, ultra MAGA Trump supporting site, they are all paranoid that the data centers are strictly for surveillance and must be stopped. And that's what's pulling conservatives over to the liberal side right now, because that one phrase now is almost getting as prevalent as the watershed. And it's a big saya. And where do you find stuff like that?
I don't know, Bill. Where do you find stuff like that? Is it on Facebook?
No, that.
Instagram?
No, it's from Media Justice. It's one of the toolkits that activists use to plan step by step how to go out and do activist activities, how to trip people up, how to do legal fights against it, how to go to city council meetings and make them look stupid, how to hammer them with questions. It's just complete step-by-step activist detail. And that's not the only one. That's one of the biggest ones. And this one came out in September. They have a new one that's online interactive that came out at the beginning of April. This is what's going on. People don't realize it. These are the same people, Media Justice, Indivisible, they're the same people who were No Kings, anti-ICE, pro-Ayatollah protesters. They're the exact same people. And I tried, if anyone out there can get me in touch with them, I tried to find, remember I said I wanted to get into the Tea Party group?
Yeah.
The local Tea Party group, evidently, most of them have been turned toward the anti-data center group. These are people who laughed at No Kings. They don't even realize they're following No Kings. They're following the playbooks that No Kings uses. But I haven't been able to locate them. And the hotel that's being torn down, that was the first place for the first Tea Party meeting, and I was there.
Nice.
So it's not like...
Wait, is it a good thing or bad thing?
Huh?
Is it a good thing or bad thing?
That it's being torn down, or I was with a Tea Party?
You were with the Tea Party.
It was a good thing. It was nice. It was the first time I realized how much of a slut Rachel Maddow was.
Okay.
Should I not have used the S word? Bitch. Well, what happened was I had never I had never really watched her much. And for some reason I got the idea of recording her to see what her view was on the Tea Party meeting. So I set the computer up to record it, and I went to the Tea Party meeting. We went to the one in Wichita Falls, which is during the day, and then we caravan and drove to the one in Dallas. And when I got home and watched the recording, it was so disgusting how she'd say, look at the offensive signs, and she'd focus in on something that was mildly whatever, and then show another one. But if you looked, you could tell the trees difference and the wind and the weather, that she was doing little clips here and there. What I found out there is I walked up to a couple of policemen leaning against their cars, and I went, keeping an eye on the rowdy crowd, huh? And they're like, yeah. I got a picture of a guy on a bicycle delivering pizzas. There were families on blankets, and the guy was going through the families and blankets on the grounds of City Hall, and he was taking pizza orders and then going out and coming back on a bicycle. I got a picture. He smiled and he's holding it up. I could find it. Not right now, but it's pretty easy to find. So here she is talking about how rowdy and evil the Tea Party was.
Mhm.
And I was there. I was the last person. There was a guy from Wichita Falls who brought maybe an antenna aerial, a girder thing. It was, I don't know, 30 plus feet tall, and set it up next to the stage. And he had a banner unfurled on it that represented the height of the tax code.
Okay.
Now, I helped him disassemble that and load it in his truck. I was the last person, period, standing on the courthouse, just lighting, every person gone. And I went, the grounds look cleaner than when we got here. People picked up the garbage out of the cans and put it in their trucks and minivans to make sure everything was clean.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
And they talk about, oh, it's not grassroots. Here, I was listening to what became the first Tea Party meeting in Dallas. Now, do you remember Michelle Malkin?
No.
Yeah, she actually was one of them who started one of the meetings up north, and Mark Davis, WBAP. I think he's on another station now, but he was on WBAP, and he goes, "Hey, I've heard of this lady doing this thing up here for the tax thing. You think we could do one here?" I don't know. Let me see what people say. And then he goes, "Oh, people seem interested. Hey, does anyone know how to draw a T-shirt?" Okay, someone called in and says, "Oh, we're with the VFW. We can provide some chairs." So it was truly grassroots. I used to listen to that station, so I was listening when it first began in Dallas. But then I just kind of flipped, and seeing her, yeah, okay, I shouldn't use the S word, but imagine she represented it that way. And I was there, and it was good. And there's this nice little old lady, the first Tea Party meeting at that hotel that's being torn down. This nice little old lady looks at me and goes, then the next day, I can't believe people could be so hateful.
Mm.
I will never forget, and that's why I use the S word, because it's the hate that she started generating with that misrepresentation of the whole thing. And
Yeah.
just the image of that nice little old lady, she was lost, and she followed me down to Dallas from Wichita Falls.
Okay.
So it was a nice meeting, but the same thing is happening here with that. Why is everyone calling him? It isn't just getting people angry about they're losing their water, but now they're paranoid. Now I'm seeing conservatives say, along with the liberals, imagine how much copper is in there. I saw someone in the Wichita Falls group who said, well, they get it built, we can burn it down. They condoned now the city council people, not in Wichita Falls, but I saw it on a news thing in another city. Their house was shot up with a "Say No to Data Center" sign made there.
That was on that video that I sent you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, and a couple of weeks ago, I sent you through the messenger the actual article. But if you go to that article and you read the comments below it, they're justifying it.
Yeah.
So it's basically now they have gotten conservatives so paranoid that they're justifying that kind of violence in the same way that liberals are justifying the violence, the murder of the insurance executive.
Yeah.
There's no difference. But conservatives aren't realizing it. They aren't realizing they're being sucked into, that kind of garbage.
Yeah. And it's good to be mindful of that kind of stuff. I mean, am I prepared for that kind of situation? Yes. Do I want that kind of situation? A lot of people are like, "Oh, because you carry around with you're always wanting that situation." It's like, "No, I don't." One, I would have to uh uh take a life. No one wants that. Not even police officers. And everybody says like, "Oh no, police officers they go out and as soon as they wake up, they're getting ready to take a life." Or some of them is like take a life of minority or do XYZ against people. That's the reason why they strap on that badge. And I was like, "No, they most of the cops that I actually generally talk to want to make sure that their area is peaceful. That's all they want. They don't want anything big. They don't want any kind of uh glory for it. They just want to keep the peace. That's all they want. And they enjoy it. And there are bad actors in every job. I mean, we had it when we were working up at our job. I had it when I was working at corrections. It happens. It's just you just gotta take your licks when you can. But another thing happened in the UK. You want to hear about it, Bill? You like world news?
Something
Uh,
happened in the UK?
after UK Supreme Court unanimously ruled that the legal definition of a woman is based on biological sex, J.K. Rowling's posted a photo of her smoking a cigar and drinking a cocktail with the caption, "I love it when a plan comes together." Here's that photo. That's J.K. Rowling's right there, making billions off of nerds. That's hilarious.
You do know where that comes from.
Oh, wait a minute, I think I know this. Oh man, I
No way.
remember. I remember Liam Neeson said it in a movie.
Yeah.
Ah,
He's not the original though.
no, he's the original. Bill, we got to keep up with the times. We can't go into ancient times like you like to every once in a while. No, it was the 18. I still don't see the. I know you have to have like a cool vehicle and a TV show and whatnot, but there we go.
There we go.
What's it say?
Well, it says, "I love it when a plan comes together."
Did he ever? He smoked the cigar when he was on the show, right?
I think he did.
Because it was that time frame where they were trying. No, it wasn't the 80s. They smoked. Man, 80s was freaking badass. I watched
80s was the best. I mean, if you look at half of the TV series we have,
it was action
yeah,
because they could do it for cheap, and people loved watching them. I was watching a new documentary. It's called Knight Rider Declassified, and they go over what they had to do with the show and everything. I mean, they kept like 5 kits. It was kind of funny that all that stuff, because the way they described it, they were like, yeah, we had like maybe about 3 studios that we had to share with different people on Paramount, because at the time Paramount was the one pushing out all those action TV shows, the A-Team, Knight Rider, Warner Brothers was Dukes of Hazzard.
David Hasselhoff hated that show.
No, he loved it. He eventually said he loved it.
Well,
He-
after the show, he said everyone came up. He's Baywatch. He's famous for that. But everyone would come up and go, "Hey, dude, where's the talking car?" He said that drove him nuts.
Well, probably at the time. It's the same thing with Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves, during his time frame when he was no, Christopher Reeves. Reeve. Is it Reeves or Reeves? Reeve.
Reeves, I think.
Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve. Yeah. It's not, there's no S on the end of it. It's Christopher Reeve. But Christopher Reeve, the entire time that he was portrayed as Superman, he couldn't fly on a airplane. He wasn't allowed to fly on an airplane. I think it was just for the first two movies. After the first two movies, they allowed him to fly on a jet because Superman didn't need an airplane.
Tom Selleck was depressed on doing Magnum.
Why is that? That is a good thing because a lot of the stuff from back in the day, and then they come up like from past stuff, and they're like, you know what? I was just being a douchebag.
Well, he was just stuck in Hawaii doing the show, and he didn't. I don't think he partied. I can't remember exactly how the story went, but I don't think he partied. Didn't have a lot of friends. He was pretty much by himself.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. That's when you get your hobby or something. Well, no, I mean,
I can't even remember hobbies.
Okay. Here's the bad thing that I do when I go to some place. I look at the bad of the place, and there's some of this stuff that it's like people go. I was like, oh man, I would love to visit Hawaii. I would love to live in Hawaii. I was like, okay. Visiting Hawaii, you can save up, you can collect a lot of money, and you can go to Hawaii. It's nice. It's great. Good for a visit. You can hunt deer there, axis deer. You can hunt those on an island. They're hard freaking targets to get at because they're jittery. But living there, I spent 2 weeks when I was there doing I was TDY. Someone wanted to go from Hawaii to go visit their family for 2 weeks. But I went there, I spent my time there, and I was just looking at how much stuff cost. On the base, it's different money system because it's all federal. You don't have to pay like taxes and whatnot. But you go off the base, $67 for a gallon of milk, and this is $2,000. But what I understand, it's the same thing in Alaska because they're remote places.
It's one of the highest places for gas.
Yeah, because it's remote. The second highest. Second highest bill.
Next to California?
You know what? That's a good question. Who has the biggest gas prices, California or Hawaii? No, it's California. Hawaii's the second. Okay, as of right now, California's gas price is 6.16 cents per gallon. Hawaii's is $5.65. So yeah. No. But yeah. It's freaking expensive to go to the
highly recommend that you if your electric plan is about to be up, or if it's a low fee to break the contract, I definitely recommend checking if you're in Texas. Since we have the deregulated grid, which is really works out a lot better for data centers. And it's the reason why they don't really increase. Any increase in cost isn't due to them specifically, like it is in other states. Currently, for Change Energy, I just renewed with them, and I went ahead and renewed for 2 years instead of 1. And I had saved over my TXU bill, I had saved 47% last year, and the price dropped temporarily, and right now the estimate is I'll save over 60% from what I was paying with TXU a year ago. So I would I highly recommend it if you use over 1,000 kilowatt hours a month of electricity. Only if. Because any months that you use less, it's gonna cost you $125 more because you'll lose a credit that they put on it.
Really?
Oh, here's a good one. Let me pull up one. I was looking at a data center that they're putting near Luke Air Force Base in Arizona. And of course, they're all going, "Oh, we're not going to be able to drink. It's going to take all our water." Well, no, the data center itself uses I think the advanced air cooling. So, yeah, it uses advanced air cooling, 0 water, but the power plant is going to use, I got the number, 36 million gallons a year.
Mm.
But they're probably going to use non-potable water by the time it goes online. Now, what do you hear when you hear 36 million gallons?
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Like a water park a lot.
Well, a busy car wash uses over 1 million gallons a year.
Yeah.
Now our golf course an average golf course around here uses 80 to 100 million gallons of water.
Really?
So we're talking about
Okay.
36 million.
Yeah, we talked about that because we're trying to figure out how many people it takes just to because an average household four people, they use what is it, 100,000 a year? 100,000 gallons a year.
I'm drawing a blank on that one.
So a neighborhood takes up, like a neighborhood does what do you call it?
Yeah, I had it written down because I used 4 or 5 times more water in the month of January than any other month.
Yeah.
4 or 5. It was a huge amount. But up north, I was comparing it to data centers up north, and a golf course uses 35 to 45 million gallons. Okay? 80 to 100 million here.
Yeah, because it's Texas.
And you hear 36 million is a lot. A golf course in Phoenix the average golf course is 186 million gallons.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how many golf courses are in Phoenix?
How many?
Take a guess.
5 or 6?
200.
You got to be kidding. No. How many golf courses are in Phoenix?
It can vary because of developers building and covering up. So it varies, but on average,
I got to see this. I want to know this. Dang, really? 200 golf courses. So they're spending Okay. Close to 2 billion gallons of water a year for golf. See what I did there?
Well, you know how I said that we do 80 to 100 million gallons here, but we use purple pipes, so we use non-potable water, and
Yeah.
it's something they installed during the drought. In Phoenix, only 1/3 of the water comes from purple pipe for their golf courses. So 2/3 of that 200 golf courses, that comes to about 37 billion gallons of water a year. 2/3 of it is from their quality drinking water.
Mm.
So you're looking at approximately 30 to 50 times more water is used on golf courses just in Phoenix than every data center in the state of Arizona. So we should really start a group for the people in Arizona. This is to help those people in Arizona who are concerned about water.
Yeah. 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 All right, Bill. Let's land this plane. I'll let you talk long enough.
What? But I've got more notes.
Do you really have more notes? Well, I know you had. I don't even know why I was surprised. I don't know why I was surprised. But anyway,
I went to the city council meeting, and I ended up. I haven't had this happen in as long as I can remember. When I was in high school, they forbid me from using an eraser mate pen. Do you remember an eraser mate?
Yeah.
Because I write with my hand curved, so I would smudge it across the paper.
Yeah, because you're left-handed.
So even though with a regular pen, I took 8 pages of notes in that city council meeting, and my hand was smudged when I came out.
Because you're left-handed, Bill.
So
Right-handed.
all of these people on the Wichita Falls groups that says, "Oh, we're going to flood the meeting," they were all NATO.
What?
NATO, just like the group.
Oh, okay.
No
yeah.
action, talk only.
Oh, okay.
NATO.
Okay. Well, everybody that's actually stayed with us and started listening to us, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. I have one very funny thing to show everybody. This is us at a dinner, probably Thanksgiving, after one sip of water.
I'm an American.
Nope, can't use that. Damn it. I hate when they do that. Basically, we argue we're Americans. But anyways, I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Wild William.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Love you guys. Goodbye.